Give me that. Give me that.
And we are live. How? Welcome to the SUMELEVATE podcast. I'm here with Nick. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be here, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So tell us why you're here, what got you interested in talking with us today, and who you are.
Well, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, definitely a loaded question, I know.
Well, what got me started, I want to connect with people who are in the same level with me, you know, who we can talk about, sharpen each other.
Yeah.
We seem like to have a lot of wisdom and experience, life experience, and valuable life experience that we can share with people so they don't stumble upon the same obstacles that we stumble upon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we were talking earlier, me and Nick were saying how the obstacle is so important and how we need to kind of be turned on by obstacles in a way to overcome them and get past them. So
obstacles are like when you know what you don't want, you immediately know what you do want.
Exactly.
You know, that's and if you just use that obstacle as a springboard, not focus on that immediately, you know what you want. You focus on that, it becomes dominant in your experience. It's just like that. You just gotta prove it to yourself, man. Like practice this, and it's like there's a famous book called Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yeah, Napoleon Hill. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Napoleon, and he talks about turning thoughts into things, and that's how it is, exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know what you want, you can immediately have it. And there's how fast you can have it is you not having contradicting beliefs, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In psychology, I believe that's called cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you don't have contradictory beliefs, it means there is no resistance with your belief, and it manifests in your experience. Try to prove yourself with manifesting very small things, like, you know, something that's very less resistance, like, you know, maybe a sea. So try and find an owl feather in the forest.
Exactly. Yeah.
It happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've noticed a lot, like, drawing from that, and I know you're particularly interested in consciousness, and we will talk about that more, but what do you think about us in this millennial age, right? We're growing up and like connecting that to the possibilities now with knowledge such as this, consciousness knowledge and like stuff about dreams. How do you think this can really help us move forward as a generation?
Move forward to
like,
what?
Right. Like, how can we begin our self-awareness journeys without any kind of preponderances or any fear?
Interesting question. Without any fear. Well, you have to understand what fear is, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is, like, I've studied a lot of successful people, and they will tell you over and over again, even dating industry, right? Like, approaching girls, anxiety. Fear never goes away.
It's always
what
there.
we fear is fear itself. And when you have an understanding of the value of fear, then you will love fear. You're like, fear time. That
it's so interesting. It's interesting you say that, because fear and excitement are similar physiologically. We feel it as adrenaline, right? And we feel it in our bodies, like that tension. But that tension is used to move us forward. Like if we imagine an elastic band, it's kind of like that tension. As we pull, we can stretch more and expand. And that's why I think fear is really important. And yeah, you're right. Like understanding fear gets you more in tune with.
So what fear basically, in my experience, is like, I have to lay some foundations first to explain it.
Great, let's do that.
Like what I had received, like, you know, we're a receiver of thoughts.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you know, we receive thoughts. You don't make thoughts up. And there is a sort of like a duality going on inside of us. There's two aspects of us, and I have experiences. I have caught myself, because I'm very self-aware. Sometimes I call myself you. Like when I speak to myself, I say you, and then there are times when I say I.
Yeah.
You know, it's very interesting to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a broader perspective of you. that is already become. Like, you've asked, your life experience has caused you to ask, what you want, and it has already become vibrationally.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't digest this very well. They're like, "What's spiritual?" Like, there's another version of you that's already become. Like, okay, cool. I will tell you this scientifically. Like, there's the subconscious mind, there's the unconscious mind. Right? And we know that the conscious mind is only working 5%.
Exactly. It's like the iceberg. It's like like the Titanic. Like it wasn't the little tip that made it sink. It was the whole iceberg that was at the bottom that was hidden.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things going on, and what fear is you identify, whenever you say you or I, know that it's the mind talking.
Yeah.
It's the mind identifying, because the mind likes to prove its existence. It likes to validate itself. Or else it doesn't exist. When you don't say I and don't give it a shape, then it doesn't exist, right? So, what fear is that your mind not catching up to what you've already become, because it cannot see. So when you can't see, you fear. You see? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm starting to understand where you're coming from. I think it's important to take the concept of fear, for instance, and really recognize, like, it's also a label. Some people just stick fear as a kind of way to understand a situation. Like, some people will say that Trump's campaign is run on a fear-based campaign to get people kind of thrilled, and we're all excited by this kind of energy of fear that's also within our news and within a lot of conditioning throughout society. And so to recognize which of the fears is really conditioned and which of the fears are necessary, that's really what's going to be beneficial, right?
Yes. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
So moving on to confidence, you're particularly interested in this topic, I know. And so for you, what does it mean to be confident? What is your definition of it?
Well, confidence is just you being aligned with yourself, right? You holding your frame of reality and not getting sucked into anybody else's frame of reality.
Right.
That's what, like, if you look at the dating industry, right? Like, when a guy approaches a girl, he's always like, he's already giving so much. He's already accepting her frame and he crushes his frame. And that's a turnout for girls. You believing in yourself, you holding your frame of reality and not listening to anybody, that's confidence. You doing what you want. You listening to your intuition. You following your path. That's what confidence is.
Yeah, and I think that comes over time. There comes this journey that comes with confidence, and especially core confidence.
That's what I talk about, alignment, yes.
Yeah.
Core confidence.
Exactly. And for me, it's that kind of feeling or belief of faith, like trusting in yourself and trusting in your faculties, right? And really just putting yourself into situations where you can grow and expand, these edge moments or flow states, where we can really find this growth potential in each of us, and each of us has this. So yeah, it's really interesting.
It's all about emotional control, really. It's like you have to find your natural self. Like, since you were a baby, your dominant feelings are of love and joy and freedom and all the good stuff, right? So you have to, like, dive deep inside yourself and find your core stability. Like, that people in the dating industry, they call it what do they call it? What's the word? State. Being in state.
Yeah. State control.
Yeah, they call it being in state. Yeah. So once you find your state and you going out into the world and not being affected by any condition, like, you go into the club, you go into, like, meetings, you go shake a president's hand, but you are completely stable, unshaken. Being natural under unnatural circumstances is confidence.
Right. I think also the word in the dating industry, I think they use the word unstifled as well.
Being stifled is what you giving up your frame.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not grounded, and all your energy goes into your mind, and you're like projecting, because that's your mind's job. Your mind's job is to be confused. Out of confusion comes clarity, because you can't have clarity without first having confusion. And your mind is in this world, put in this world for confusion. So you can't, you should not stick to your mind too much. You know, it's a tool for you, but you are not your mind.
Right. And I bet people listening to this video right now, they're like have several tabs open, you know, like they're like on their smartphone or something. And it's so important to recognize like this information that you are digesting as an audience is so crucial and so important. And it comes with presence, right? And we really need to build this. I wouldn't say it's a technique. It's more of a
practice.
Practice, right? It's a
you
ritual.
become it with practice. It's a skill.
Definitely. So let's move on to a topic that I think is very interesting to both of us, which is one of intuition. And knowing when to trust your gut and knowing when to really go for it.
I'm really loving this. Everything's coming together. Like every single topic we point on is wrapping up very nicely.
Yeah, it's like a neatly wrapped present.
So what is your take on intuition?
So, for me, having an intuition is crucial. It's very important, and it's one that gets built over time. Obviously, you don't have the best intuition to start off with. That's why we make certain mistakes or we go into situations, and it's all a learning process for me. So,
but what if that was your intuition for you to go in there to see the contrast itself? Right. Your intuition was telling you go fuck yourself up, kind of, you know, because there's value in it.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. And like, I don't know where it was that I've heard this, but like that feeling of that everything is gonna work out, and like that mindset that you are powerful already, that you're not broken, that you don't need fixing, that it's more of an unlayering process.
There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix. Nothing's broken. Everything's perfect.
Exactly. And that's really
unperfectly perfect.
Exactly. Wabi sabi, that's what they call it in
wabi sabi. Yeah. Never heard that before.
Yeah, it's a Japanese word called wabi sabi. It's like the imperfection. It's like the perfection of imperfection. So it's like ripped jeans is like wabi sabi, you know, because it's like destroyed, but it's also aesthetic, and it's like. So it's like finding
there's two types of views you can have. You can say everything is imperfect, or you can say everything is perfect. Actually, it's just a platform for us to like, you know, to hold on to something. But what is the standard of perfection anyway? You can't just give a standard of perfection. Actually, that's what is up in the beginning.
That's
because
exactly it.
People said God is perfect, right? I don't know why they say that. God is perfect, and in search of God, they started building temples and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
So they can invite him. That's the whole notion of like I don't know why human beings have this perception of like, you know, God is better than me and I'm a pathetic human being. Like it's not like that.
Yeah.
God is you. Like you're this same dot on the same line. You know, it's same thing.
When I mention God, I think of God kind of like as an energy. More of
energy, source, infinity, light, whatever resonates. Whatever you want to resonate. I like to call it inner being.
Right, inner being.
Source. I like to call it source, inner being.
That's really interesting. Talking about
and source, just so I don't break my chain of thoughts. Source, or your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind, is also focused in you at this moment, at this second, right here and now. And your brain has an opinion on a subject, and your inner being has an opinion on a subject.
Right.
And your emotion is the indication of how far you are thinking from your inner being. So, for example, you look at a person and you have achieved hate for him. Hate doesn't feel good, it sucks.
Yeah.
That's your indication, oh wait, my inner being isn't thinking the same way. Maybe this is my experience or whatever, my life experience has caused me to believe this. So that is what your emotion is. That is your guidance. That is what fear is. Fear is the farther you go from the opinion from your source, the more fear you feel. And that is emotion is a translation of your core vibration. That is, remember we were talking about this yesterday, about how we are translating devices, right? We're translating beings. We translate vibration into sound. We translate light into colors, taste, smell, the same thing. And your emotion is also a translation of vibration. And that is what people are so oblivious to. Like, how come we did not know that?
Yeah. It's amazing how... Yeah. It's just amazing how we're like instruments, and we need to be finely tuned, you know? And it's about that kind of... I don't know why this is popping up into my brain, but like how you were talking about perfection, it's not really about perfection. I think it's more about like finding your individual excellence in anything, rather than, because some people say practice is perfect, but not necessarily. If you keep practicing something,
the wrong things
in a wrong way,
you can manifest anything you want. You can have ghosts. Some people literally see ghosts because they are constantly thinking about it. You want to see the devil, you will. I kid you not, you will see him. But why not? You have a choice. Like, do you want to see him? Do you want to see if the answer is no? Then no. That's it. Don't go there.
So you're saying like people who believe in aliens, like they choose to believe, and so
life experience will show them weird things, man.
Yeah,
they will.
It's like kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way too, and it's a lot of it is up to us. And you're right, like every single thing is a symbol for us in order to kind of either move us forward or get us to be stuck in this same place. And so it's important that we recognize the important symbols, like the yin and yang, for instance, that like we need the contrast in order for it to mean something of value. And
do you remember I told you there's a duality inside of us too, our higher self and our brain. And that is what yin and yang teaches us, harmony, right? Peace. Right. It stands for peace. Exactly. That's you achieving harmony with that brain level and your higher self. You're not arguing with yourself no more. You achieved harmony. And once you've achieved harmony, like the thoughts start flowing to you, you start receiving things. You're not having that contradictory beliefs anymore. Because you know, and you've proved to yourself that you can achieve anything you want. Michelangelo says, most of us are not in trouble because we aim really high and we don't get it. Most of us are actually in trouble because we aim low and we achieve it. It's trying to say the same thing. You get what you focus on. You focus on getting whatever you set your goals, low bar, you get low bar.
So in terms of helping people understand this more, for the listeners, what are some of the things that people can do in order to stop those contradictions from happening? First of all, it's to be aware of it, right? When it does bubble up into surface. But what are some things that you do to kind of facilitate that?
Well, I started with meditation. Meditation and understanding how thoughts work. Like you see, there is something called momentum. You know momentum, it's physics, right? So once you start snowballing your thoughts, your momentum rolls. If there's some people, there's a saying in America, you woke up on the wrong foot or something like that. That actually
woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Is that one? Is that it? Woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or is this?
Whatever it is, not a good place to be at.
Not a good place. Got it. Yeah.
Yes, but it's what it is. It's they started off on the wrong foot. They started their momentum with the thoughts, and their whole day is like you stumble your foot on the corner of the bed, like things are falling, things are breaking, and you see the person has like the whole day like up experiences. And I've actually seen like two people having different experiences at the same frame of experience. Like one person woke up in a really good mood, one person woke up there right in a bad mood, and I can see their experience live. One is the guy's like winning concerts, like someone threw a shirt, he caught it. Like other guys like not winning anything and things like that. So it's momentum, and once momentum starts picking up, you're done. Like you have to start over, and that's what meditation is. Meditation is quieting that momentum down.
Yeah, it's kind of, for me, meditation is like kind of flushing out all the negativity. It's just like it's a way of like really looking at your thoughts and like clouds, they're just like words, and then it all disappears, and then you're like, wow, like that feeling afterwards.
Momentum disappears, and your core vibration starts to rise automatically because it's more dumb. That's what meditation is. People think like meditation is a woo-woo stuff, right? It's actually just stopping your thought process, releasing momentum. You actually do this every day. When you sleep at night, your momentum completely subsides, and you have a choice in the morning.
Yeah.
And 17 seconds is all it takes to start snowball a thought. That's what Abraham Hicks talks about.
Yeah.
She like really dives deep into like your thoughts process, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to listen to some of her stuff last night. It was very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about you were talking before the podcast began, you were telling me about animals and their importance in our journeys and really learning from animals. So would you like to speak a bit about that and shamanism and any other things that you'd like to add?
Well,
yeah.
So animals are also like us, you know, like we have many faces, like we have many core vibrations and personalities in us, you know, like we have confidence, we have dominance, we have happiness, we have joy. But animals, if you observe them, they don't have many of those. Like for example, a hummingbird vibrates in the frequency of joy. And when you are really joyful, I kid you not, you see hummingbirds everywhere. Like last time, a hummingbird just came to my face in my window and it's just like hovering like this. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. You know, it's like, I'm like, whoa. And that's what animals is. You have to observe them and learn their frequency. And intuition is the main key. Like, look, animals, man. Nobody teaches animals to raise their kids. Nobody teaches animals how to have sex. Insert the penis, you know, or whatever. Like, how do they know? How do they know?
Yeah.
They know. And a tiger, a motherfucking tiger, a lion, he knows which grass to go eat when he's not feeling well. He doesn't go, oh, you know, research says, like, you know, blah, 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 this has antioxidants in it, and it's gonna, like, no. He trusts his intuition. He doesn't even argue with it. It just comes to him, he goes and does it.
Yeah.
He's not conscious enough to argue with himself. And that's the thing. I have also, like, if you understand this, you never even have to get sick again, ever. I haven't been sick in 7 years. You get sick because, like, look at animals, they eat garbage, right? And they never get sick because they don't go say, oh, the garbage has bacteria and blah, 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 like that research says, you know? It's kind of like we ourselves up with a placebo there, kind of.
Yeah. So, going off of that, what you said about animals, and really it's about that intuition and, like, resonating on their vibrational frequency and, like, finding out more about that. That really interests me. And it just reminds me of us as human beings, because we are animals too, but we're conscious of ourselves. But we have a conscious. We have a. The animal can't say, "Oh, I exist." Forethought. We can see things from before they happen, and we can simulate the future. Right. Exactly. And I think that's so important and key for us humans, that when we really break it down to the instinctual level, we're all animals, and probably what's left is just our hormones. And so it's so important to also control our diets and, like, the things we put into our body, as well as things that we're consciously doing things to raise our vibration. And, like, one thing that I love to do is just, like, being in water. I think is very very cleansing, and I think water also vibrates at an interesting frequency. Actually, you know, water is actually very interesting. But yeah, I get what you mean. Water is calm, it has no resistance, it flows, you know, like, you know, people talk about path of least resistance, right? You put a rock in the river, it doesn't argue, you know, it just takes a route which is the most resistant. And we all take, if we're listening to our intuition, our inner being guides us every second. Like, just watch out for the signs. They're taking us to the path of least resistance for us. Even at times where you rationalize that this is not the path of least resistance. As Bruce Lee says, be like water. Yeah. He says, empty your mind. Empty your mind, Empty your mind. Be formless. Be shapeless. Like water. And that's what it means by identity. Like the moment we identify ourselves, I am this, I am that, you giving yourself a shape. You're limited. And there's two problems with that. Once you have a shape, then there's something you're afraid to lose it. And the other problem is we are evolving beings. When you give a shape, it's hard to go further. Because, oh wait, I'm already this, I can't go that. So that's what Bruce Lee actually really means. It made sense to him, but his way of conveying it wasn't that intricately detailed, like how we're talking about right now. Right, exactly. And a lot of like ancient texts and things like that, like Lao Tzu's example of the Tao, that really goes into a very complex Chinese philosophy. And when you read this, at first you'll be like, what is this even saying? Like, these are all haikus, or these are all kind of written in a way that is a translation. And it's important to note that a lot of important information gets lost in translation at times, and so it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's important to go into the word itself and really look into the history and the culture to really understand something and a concept that deep. Yeah.
And a lot of it is also like analogical. You know, it's not meant to take literally. Like, you know how Jesus describes, you know, like he had battles with the devil and stuff. It's not really. He wasn't really like fighting with the sword with the devil. Right. It's him trying to find that harmony in his mind.
Yeah.
Not having contradictory beliefs, because the devil is the mind. That's what he really means, because it's the one who contradicts.
Yeah.
But you are not the mind, and you have to listen to your intuition.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting that in a lot of psychoanalysis, like Carl Jung stuff, he talks about us creating a story, like from metaphors and myths. Like Joseph Campbell talks about this too. The idea that our subconscious is like whenever we read in fairy tales, there's a forest or something like that. He is saying that is kind of a metaphor for our subconscious brain, and so whatever you're finding in this forest, it's kind of like your own a journey throughout your mind. Which
it's like
is
diving deep somewhere, you know?
Yeah, it's hiding deep in the crevices of the jungle, but it's your own. Yeah, the jungle is your mind, which is so interesting. I like to look at a lot of this for my coaching too. Speaking of that, like you've shown interest in coaching, and so just like let the audience know like how you started, or like how you're thinking of expanding, and what your brand is, your Instagram. You can let them know now if you want.
Well, my philosophy is like, you know, there's a saying called "Give a man a fish and he looks for a day, and then teach a man how to fish, he lives forever," right?
Forever, yeah.
And I want to teach people how to, you know, and I don't want to say help them, because there's nothing to fix and
fish. Yeah,
it's nothing broken. It's just I want to help them connect to their own leader.
Yeah.
You know, to their higher self, to listen to their intuition.
Yeah.
Because life is supposed to be happily ever after, man. You're supposed to be happily ever after-ing ... You know? That if it's not that, then you just gotta do some work on yourself. You gotta trust yourself.
Yeah.
That's another thing, you know. What trust is, you know, you having a belief and you sticking with it. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do. And I feel like my whole life experience my whole life I've been thriving for this. This is what interests me. This is what like I wake up in the morning and be like, damn, like there's so much like absorbed, and there's so much cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Got it.
I feel like I'm an expert in this because like, I've done it for so long, and I've proven myself, and I experimented it, you know?
Awesome.
So yeah.
So for people wanting to check you out, where can people find you if they're wanting to coach with you, or
well, for now I'm just gonna be doing it on Instagram, Skype. Yeah. So my name is Celestial Expansion on Instagram. You can check it out.
Is it all together, Celestial Expansion, or is there?
There's a what's that thing?
Underscore? Yeah.
Celestial
underscore expansion. Check him out.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, let's talk a bit more about this concept of you mentioned a trust, which was very interesting. I'm just pulling keywords from which we can kind of expand upon. So really, what got you interested in this in the first place? I mean, what was the initial spark?
I'm glad you asked me that question, Sume.
Yeah.
Well, nothing satisfied me in life.
Yeah. My name is Sume, by the way, just for...
Sume, not Sume.
Not Sume, yeah. Go on.
Sume.
Sorry to cut you off.
Like, nothing satisfied me in life, you know? Like, I've lived a very poor life when I was a kid. We used to eat from a dumpster. I was still happy, you know? I don't care. Like, I'm me, I'm doing my thing. I've lived in Dubai. Like, I had friends who are like sons of sheikhs, and I've driven in like cars with lions and tigers. You know,
That's
I've
awesome.
seen.
Yeah.
I've like I'm half Ukrainian, half Nepalese. Like, so I've been around the world a little bit. I've seen things, and nothing satisfying. Nothing satisfying. And me looking for that satisfaction began my journey.
Right.
And I will tell you, in my experience, what real satisfaction is closing that gap that we talked about earlier. You becoming who you have already become. That is what's the most satisfaction. You experiencing experience itself
There's no
is the
more
most
gap,
satisfying
right.
thing ever. Experiencing experience itself, that's the key word. Being in the moment, you know?
Yeah.
Time is so perspective. Like, a fly taught me that, because we were talking about animals, right?
Yeah.
One day I'm sitting in the window, a fly comes by, you know, I'm moving my hands, and the fly just doesn't give a f***. It's like just staying there, it doesn't move. And I remember, like, as a kid, knowing that flies see things in slow motion.
Yeah.
Right? They do see things in slow motion because they have a higher frame rate.
Yeah.
So for them, time is so different than us. They perceive time in such a different manner.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they live for 4 days, but maybe that 4 days is just our judgment. Maybe it feels like 100 years to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Could be.
And it's so hilarious. Right after that thing came to me, like, I opened YouTube, Abraham Hicks' video, "Time is not linear." I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
so interesting.
That's some law of attraction stuff, you know?
Let's talk about that a bit. I think synchronicity and like these moments of like really it's source energy like reminding you that you are on the right path. Like when people see certain numbers over and over again, or when people get signs from the universe.
I get 111 all the time, man.
Yeah. I get 4. I get 4, and that's my lucky number, and I notice it everywhere. And that's why when Jay-Z's album came out, like 444,
444, yeah.
I was like, what? No.
That must be like a moment for you there.
That was just incredible, yeah. So, yeah.
It's like that.
It's amazing.
And Infinite Water also talks about synchronicity a lot.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's what it is. It's synchronicity is just you manifesting what's inside of you, you know?
Yeah.
When you see repeated numbers, it's like it's telling you, like, hey, you're on the path, you know? Just reminding you to be conscious again, you know, to be in the moment, so that you're listening to your intuition. Like, you gotta listen to your intuition. The thing is, intuition is very subtle. It's very subtle. And our society has numbed it down. It has desensitized it. So they don't feel it. That's why meditation is the key.
Right.
When you meditate, vibration rises. And then you feel the intuition more.
Yeah. Yeah, after you get into a practice of meditation, you'll notice you're making a lot better decisions than you were.
Yes, because you receive better thoughts. You're listening to your intuition better.
I think what happens is it improves your quality of thinking.
You trying, working hard, like, you know, that's another faulty premise that we live on. Our worth is determined by how hard we work.
Yeah.
But, you know, our physical action is not the real creating force. It's the inside, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Meaning on the inside, our imagination. You know, imagination evokes emotion in you. And emotion is what's real.
Yeah.
Emotion is what's real, so it's valid. Imagination is valid. Like, just like if you study law of attraction, you know, a lot of people want money, right? They want money. But when they say I want money, what their emotion is saying, I don't have enough.
I don't have enough money, yeah.
Yeah, and the universe doesn't listen to your words, you know? It listens to what you feel and gives you exactly what you feel. So if you really want to manifest a car, don't think about, like, oh, I want a Hyundai or a Mercedes. Like, the universe doesn't know that. Think in terms of feelings, how that leather would smell, the new leather, you know, how comfortable the seat is, how finely engineered that engine is, you know, in that way.
Yeah, and when you fully go into that process of manifestation and really feeling every single crevice of its being, like, if you really find a way to see it and, like, feel it so much that it already feels like you have it, that's when the universe says, okay, this guy deserves more of this, because or this person.
There is no deserving. Like
Yeah,
you are
there's
the
no,
deserving
yeah.
factor.
That wasn't the right word. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the universe is open to giving you an infinite amount of whatever you want,
And the amount you
but it's not
receive
what you
depends on the
want.
amount.
It's see that like it messes with my head because it's like you want at a certain point you have these desires, and
Desire has summoning power.
sorry, what did you say?
Desire has summoning power.
Yeah, summoning power. Got it. But when you're desiring something that you don't feel like you're there already, then you're saying to the universe that I don't that feeling of lack, right?
Yeah.
Like that scarcity.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's scarcity. It's like you're thinking from
It's lack of scarcity mindset. Yeah.
yeah,
There's
exactly.
not enough. But there is enough money. Like it's a faulty thing. Like how people think. Like there's a pie of money, and like the rich people have the biggest pie and stuff. No, it's not like that. There's enough pies for everybody, man. It's abundant, man. We live at the leading edge, man.
The thing is, people have wrong concepts, right?
Yeah.
And one of these concepts is that money is evil. Like, and we've told ourselves this throughout different
And
generations.
it can be.
It can be. It
Tools,
definitely can be.
Tools wielded by fools can be dangerous. Right?
True.
Ty Lopez taught me that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Shout out to Ty. Knowledge.
Yeah. Knowledge. Read books, man. You gotta be smart.
Knowledge. Yeah. And yeah, I think once we start changing that concept, that idea of money, that the fact that you really can bring so much more value, it's essentially freedom. And so it gives you the choice to make more out of your experience.
Yes.
So
it gives you more. It adds more food items to your buffet.
Exactly. Yeah. Your buffet. I like that.
Yeah.
All you can eat, baby.
That's the thing. Like, you're never satisfied with what you have. Like if you have 10 items in your buffet, one day you'll get bored of it.
Yeah.
And you want to add more to it. And that's what God is. God is infinite being, right?
Right.
And it's not just there. It's always expanding. God is expanding, and we are helping that. Our brain is going into this physical reality and sorting through contrast. I really want this. I want that. And it's becoming more. Preference makes God expand.
Right.
I see it that way.
Wow. Preference makes God
is
expand.
not just there, just sitting there. He'll be bored out of his mind. God wants to have fun too. God is fun. God is love, enjoyment. God is lighthearted too. And this is what changed. This is my relationship with God. When I was a kid, people were like, you shouldn't do this or you'll go to hell. I'm like, what? God is love, right? How can He send us to hell? That's stupid. And my relationship with God was always very cocky, funny humor. I'm like, hey, God, what's up? How's it going? What's poppin'? We're always laughing with each other, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and laughter has an incredible way of raising vibrations because it's so freeing, and we're literally letting
non-resistance.
We're literally letting tension go through laughter. We're like, ha! It's like we're breathing it out, like ha. You see,
yeah,
ha! It's like it's a release, and so I think it's so important to laugh, and I definitely bring a lot of that into my coaching. I think that humor is very essential. Basically, I like to use my strengths a lot in my coaching, and creativity is one of them, spirituality is another, and the third has to be humor. And finding a way to really combine all of these three has taught me to really get the most out of this experience, because that's when the epiphanies start rolling in, really.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you check Abraham Hicks' video, she's the most humorous person ever.
Yeah.
He says she's very cocky, humor. She makes fun and stuff like that. It's fun watching people laugh. The audience laughs, and she says humor. What's the main key of humor? It's timing. It's you gotta feel the energies to pop that bottle right there. It's timing.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
something you feel through your
Look at
body.
the time. It's 1-1-1-1 for me now. It's
Oh
incredible.
man, I'm seeing 1-1 too. Oh yeah, for me it's 1911. Yeah, sweet. We're on the right path, man.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I want to mention kind of how important patience is, and really figuring out, because manifestation doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it can take a year. Sometimes it can just happen like immediately. So
Yes.
knowing and having that trust with the patience, I think, is also important in getting what we truly desire.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not a really big fan of patience. I think we don't need to be patient.
Mhm.
We really don't have to be patient. The thing is, you have to find a feeling place. Like, it's not about, like, I will tell you, man, like, I was talking to you about this. I lived a rich life product. Nothing satisfied me, right? Like, I'll tell you, man, you'll get that girl in your bed, you'll get that Lamborghini in your garage, you'll have everything, okay? And then you'll be satisfied for the evening.
Yeah.
You'll be really happy. And then you're going to be exactly
You're gonna be like, now what? Yeah,
now
I know.
what? I'm still me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough. So you got to already find a feeling place.
Yeah. It's what we call in positive psychology, we call it the hedonic treadmill. So we go on this like kind of it's like we're on this treadmill, right? And then we realize we're on this treadmill, and then it's like, like we get this moment of shock or realization that there is something bigger than like this idea of success that we have. It's more
Yes.
about our internal core
There is no
confidence.
such thing as success. It's an illusion. Because
It's an
once you reach
illusion.
success, it's not going to be satisfied. I told you. You want another level of success.
Exactly.
And I've experienced this exactly with my thoughts too. Like, sometimes I receive amazing thoughts and I'm like, yeah, and then the next day I'm like, what did I think about last time, like, which was so amazing? And I think of it and it doesn't give me the same effect.
Yeah.
I'm not satisfied with receiving the same thoughts every day. I want new thoughts.
Mhm.
I want new, like, ideas. I want new creativity,
Yeah.
New. New is the best.
Yeah.
And man, it's not serious, like, have fun with this. Like,
Yeah,
it's like Abraham says, you never get it done and you never get it wrong. And you never get it wrong because you never get it done.
Mhm.
You never complete it. It's a process.
Mhm.
And as I said, experiencing experience is the most delicious thing to you. In the process, same thing.
Yeah.
You closing that gap, always,
Mhm.
of who you have already become. Because you become that.
Yeah.
Your subconscious mind has become that.
Yeah. And really, once we shift our focus on really understanding that it's like either you win or you learn how to win, and
Exactly.
knowing that you're not going to just defeat the dragon just like in the first attempt,
Yeah.
because that's what I really mean by patience. I mean, some people, they'll give up after like trying once.
Exactly. Like, people learn to play guitar for 5 minutes, they're like, fuck this, I can't play this.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the process. It's supposed to be like shitty in the beginning.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah. But really, when you bring a passion towards what you do and you're doing what you love, it really changes everything. Because in the first instance, we need that tension to move forward. And so once we start something new and we leave it incomplete, we're leaving that energetic body also incomplete. We're saying that this is my reality. We sometimes even identify ourselves as someone who doesn't complete tasks. And so what we're saying to ourselves when we don't do something or we don't follow through, that we're the kind of person that just doesn't, want to do it. But basically, it's just about recognizing that and really finding out what is the best way for you. Because
Exactly.
everybody's journey is going to be different.
And you trusting your intuition will tell you, like, maybe
Exactly.
you're not supposed to play guitar. Maybe you're not meant to do it.
Yeah. And that's
And
why
that's what we talked about, I think, believe yesterday, inspiration versus motivation.
Right, yeah.
Motivation is grinding through something you really don't want to do.
Mhm.
Right? Inspiration is you enjoying it,
Mhm.
the experience of it. You wanting to do it.
Mhm. It's so interesting. The word inspiration for me, it's a reminder of breath. And I think I told you this before. Like, to inspire means to, like, you're getting, it's like from an outside source. It's an external feeling that like when you feel inspired to do something, it's like your energy levels are up, right? You feel different in your body, and
it's you connecting with who you already become with
right.
as less resistance as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and you just going with the flow. You living it out. You being ing dot dot dot. You know, it's continuous.
Mm-hmm. Living it out. I like that.
That's the only the process is the only thing that exists here.
Yeah.
And even now is old news. Like right now, this moment is a manifested moment, and it's old news. It has manifested from your previous vibration.
Right. And people will be watching this like maybe years from today, recognizing the importance of this, the process, knowing that this moment is also temporary, like them watching, like as meta as we can get this podcast, but basically.
Really, man, I'm reading this book. I want to actually show the audience also to read this book. It has,
absolutely.
and this is how I discovered Abraham Hicks. It's called Moving Through the Parallel Worlds to Achieve Your Dreams. Mm-hmm. And now we're talking about all this spiritually, right? Mm-hmm. This guy proves everything scientifically by quantum physics.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Energy cannot be destroyed nor created. Mm-hmm. It just changes form. It evolves, it becomes.
It keeps shifting, yeah.
Like, look at our Earth. Like, what do you think they're bringing resources out from different planets? Look how it's expanding.
It's amazing how ancient Egypt and like Greece had these ideas already of vibration before science even said that there were atoms, and like people intuitively they knew that it was always about the rhythm, the flow, the vibration, the frequency, all of these words that we're bringing up now. People already intuitively knew this, so it's about really, sometimes it's about even going into your repressed childhood at times can pull out some gold. And that's what psychotherapy is. I mean, essentially, is you're really figuring out like what were the traumas and but like I don't like to focus on that because it's more like
same here. You build a new bridge,
exactly.
Lay new pipes, and the old ones fall apart.
Exactly, and it's like the role of
you
the
rewrite
present.
your history. Yes, that's a very interesting thing. You will rewrite your history. You focus on the other thing, and
live your own
whatever
life.
you had in the past, your mind will automatically reprogram it. You can change history.
Absolutely, and I think the role of the past isn't to kind of compensate or relive the
past really doesn't exist, man. It's pointless. It doesn't serve you anything. Focusing on there, maybe sometimes there is some value in there, and you, if you trust your intuition, you will go there. But if you focus on the past just to get some answers, you'll never get to the bottom of it, man.
Yeah.
There is no bottom. You just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging.
Yeah.
It's gonna frustrate.
And you're in therapy for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really like
really.
I
agree with you, man. Yeah.
I really don't believe in this therapy and stuff like that, because it's temporary. Like, if a husband divorced, like if a couple is divorced and and the wife is really pissed off at her husband, she goes to therapy, pays him $100. He suits her down. She's feeling great. She goes outside the room. Sees her husband drive by. Boom! Again, that nasty feelings comes out. She hasn't done any work.
Yeah, because the source, like sometimes it's helpful to identify your source, like what is the source of my issues or my problems, and that's the part of therapy that is really amazing. But when it does, you're right. Like when you come back to it, you don't change. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, you have to.
And that is why a lot of people are stuck. They go to different places, they see different faces, but their life experience is the same.
Yeah, and in this generation, like so many pharmaceutical drugs, we think it's so easy to just take a pill and just like forget it and like be happy, but it's not.
It's
that
actually,
causes more side effects.
I think I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this.
Yeah,
but I feel like doctors are actually causing more problem than solving it. Because they think about it this way. When there's a new disease and doctors haven't identified, that person has a high ability to pass through it because no one has told him you're gonna die. the doctors tell you there's a problem, and then your mind focuses on it and focuses on it and focuses on it, and it becomes more and more and more.
Yeah.
If the doctor said, like, oh, you're fine, go home and relax,
Yeah.
forget about everything, I think that would be more helpful for the person. You focusing on the problem makes it more. Look at the world, like Abraham says, like, there's war against poverty, war against drugs, war against prostitution, war against so many wars.
I
The
mean,
more you push against, the more it becomes.
Yeah. I see your point of view, but I also believe in the benefits of medicine. Like my
Yes, absolutely. I'm never black or white,
Yeah, absolutely. And like both my parents are doctors, and I've learned a lot of interesting like things from them. Like growing up, like noticing certain, like when I've fallen sick, I can notice the process now, and like I can go through that feeling. But I've noticed it is really in the mind. Like I work with particularly binaural beats, and so I've noticed after I listen to like a binaural for like curing my headache or like a migraine I have, it goes away within like 20 minutes, and then I realized like I didn't have to take an Advil or something.
You didn't.
I just had to believe that it's gonna work itself out. This is just my body going through.
It's a placebo effect.
Yeah.
But you knowing that placebo effect is a placebo, what are you gonna do about it? If you're wise enough, you're gonna go with it.
Yeah.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. But I do think that sounds are incredibly beneficial. Like, I think there definitely is something there. Like, and I don't know if it is placebo effect or not. Like, I've done research based on it a lot, and a lot of correlations between creativity and brain waves and these different frequencies that we can really find out. Like an alpha brainwave is for that relaxed wakefulness feeling, which we get through meditation. So if you've heard of, I don't know, HoloSync. Have you heard of HoloSync? It's a kind of brainwave technology that they're inventing now, or it has been invented. But basically, yeah, it's to recreate meditative experience through sound. So it gets your brain to resonate on that frequency. And I think that's so important for people who are a little bit opposed to meditation, or maybe for those people, a guided meditation or something like through sounds or music can help really attain those high vibrational states.
Well, my take on that, I totally agree with you. My take on that is that high vibration that you talk about, it's already within us. Okay? And whatever you do, whatever the reason is, you meditate or you go to psychotherapy or you take drugs, it's distracting you enough, your mind enough, so that vibration can come out. Just like alcohol, right? The alcohol numbs your mind down. That's why you feel so great, and your vibration comes out. That's what all drugs is. Weed is the same thing. It dilutes your mind enough for your vibration to not contradict with your mind. That's what it is. But once you understand that, you can have conscious control over it. You don't need any drugs. I've actually studied yogis and stuff, right? Like this guy, psychologist, he goes and he has LSD and stuff, right? And he puts it out in the yogi, and he's like, take one, He's like, no, I'm going to take it all. The yogi's like, I'm going to take it all. And he's like, no, that's like too much and stuff like that. And he took all those pills and he felt nothing. He says, I'm always like this. I'm always high. If you study yogis, they say I'm always high. I'm always experiencing LSD. Because that's their dominant state of being. And I've experienced this. I can actually make myself feel high, like on weed, without smoking anything.
Right.
You can do it.
It's incredible.
It's a state of being.
Yeah. Having said that, I do feel there is a benefit in not weed particularly, but certain herbs and like supplements that people can take to help them overcome certain.
It's a tool. It's definitely a tool, but it's not necessary when it really comes down to it. It's a tool, for sure.
Yeah.
It has helped me for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, okay, let's kind of leave the audience pondering a bit at the end. So, for the final thing, I really want to talk about the ideas of. Do you know any stuff about like bioenergetics or breathing, Wim Hof. Do you want to
Yes,
talk a bit
yes.
about those
I've
things?
been practicing a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Elliot Hall's
So
opened my mind to it too.
yeah. So let's let the audience know about that and how it's helped you and really, yeah,
Well, bioenergetics is your body is connected to your energy, right?
yeah.
Your cells are energy. Your breath is energy. There's combustion going on in there. It's a
Mhm.
form of exchange, and you will feel like I experienced this like when you have those days at night where you just can't sleep comfortably, like you can't find a good position. You're like moving
Preach.
here and you're moving there. Like damn it, I can't find it. Right? It's just it's not the body's problem
Yeah.
that can't get comfortable. It's you in the mind.
It's the mind, yeah.
Your mind is also energy. It's directing the energy. It's focusing. It's a focusing mechanism. And if your thoughts are not in the right place, your body will project it. Look at like people who are like low self-confidence. Their body language will tell it immediately. They're always like down and like that. Their body energy is open. If you see Elliot Halston, it's like that, legs open, man. He's like and that's what it is. Do it. Like do it right now with me. Like just open your legs and just spread your arms like that. Yeah. It already feels better, man. Already feels better.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can use your body to guide your thoughts as well. It works vice versa.
Yeah. I always say that people aren't sad, they're doing sad. They're putting them into a state where sadness occurs. And so
you practice sadness and you become sadness.
Exactly. It becomes over time it becomes a ritual or a habit. And
do you know Jason Capital?
Absolutely, yeah. I got that from him.
He made a video about it recently. It's very beautifully said, actually.
Yeah.
I understood this concept way long ago, but he said it in a very nice way for people to digest it. You really you practice sadness, you become sadness.
Exactly, and yeah, that's where I got it from actually. So that's so awesome that you brought it up. Yeah.
Jason Capital's awesome, man.
He's amazing, dude.
You look at him, man. He has no contradictory beliefs with himself. He wants it. He gets it. Why?
Yeah. And it's interesting you brought this up because I am doing his higher status course, and it's so interesting how he just takes you throughout it and really focuses on the voice, and then he focuses on your body language, and then he focuses on like the carefree attitude that a high status individual really, the essence of that, and then he really takes it throughout the entire spectrum of what makes a high status person, and he's gone through this process himself, obviously. Otherwise, I mean, why?
Well, the thing is, look, there are certain things he says, like your body should do this, and that's higher status, right? But you being connected to yourself and you do the opposite of what Jason Capital said, is still gonna be high status. Like for example, if you tell a girl you're being needy, like I love you and stuff like that, she's gonna be like, ugh, get the away, right? But you can be in a form of connectedness and humorously say like, I love you so much or something, you can still do it. It still works.
Yeah.
It's just high status is what you want it to be. Mm-hmm. You thinking of what it is and going with it anyway and doing it anyway.
Yeah. And
not
it's
being afraid to look stupid.
It's really a different mindset. And that's what I think the major shifts start to happen. When you do realize that it is a learning process, and you actually do it, you get, like Elliot Hull says this, you do the thing, and then you have the power. Right? Because we think about doing the thing, we constantly remind ourselves like we need to do the thing, but we don't actually do it. But until we have the experience of doing the thing, like say you want to lose weight, for instance. And so what Jason Capital also says, interestingly, is that we need to put ourselves in a position where there's no delay. Like sometimes if a gym is too far away, it's like
that is so Jason Capital, man.
Right? Yeah.
That is so Jason Capital, what you just said.
Yeah. Probably just quoted him. But yeah, it's so interesting that really stuck with me because like I've noticed myself like just like I have a kettlebell here, right? And once I'm seeing...
What is a kettlebell?
Kettlebell is like the exercise, the
Oh, okay, yeah.
So as I see this kettlebell, as I'm walking around this Airbnb apartment, I mean, I'm seeing it over and over again, and it's reminding me like just do a couple sets, okay?
Yeah.
Once I'm seeing it visually, it's making the delay of going to the gym or something, and I have a pull-up bar here too.
The fact that you're seeing it is the intuition part. The fact that you're seeing it. You know, like,
Yeah.
sometimes you're doing things and you gotta go out, and then all of a sudden it pops in your mind, I should just grab the keys. You know, and if you don't grab the keys, you forget it. But that's your intuition saying, hey, the keys, you need the keys.
Yeah.
That's it saying, and just do it. Because
Just do
the
it.
longer you stimulate, we're stimulating machines.
Do
Stimulate,
it!
the more resistance you add.
Yeah,
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
absolutely. I think we're going to leave it here for the audience to really
So,
soak this in, all this information.
well, you know, the audience, not everyone's gonna digest what we said. You know,
Exactly,
It's like,
yeah.
whatever people will resonate with, they will resonate with. That's cool. You
Yeah.
know? But I think we talked a lot about like value stuff, like, you know, a lot of summarization of what people have been trying to figure out. You know.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us, Nick. This was an
Yeah, thank you for
amazing,
inviting me, Sume.
absolutely amazing.
Sure.
Yeah, and have an amazing high vibrational day.
Yeah, you too, man.
And for the people listening, we always want to end by any final words that you want to leave the audience really thinking about that'll kind of make them go, what? So do you have something like that? Just a catchphrase or a quote or something that you want to leave them with?
Well, I would say, who are you?
Who are you? Good one.
That
Amazing.
starts pondering upon you. Am I my body? Am I my mind? Am I my thoughts? Am I my voice? Am I the thinker of my thoughts? Am I the observer of my thoughts? What am I?
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in today. This has been a SUMELEVATE podcast. Step your life game up. Hey.
Yeah, man. Go get it done.
Hey! All right,
Yeah.
man. Thank you
All
for
right.
joining me. And I'll catch you later, man.
Yeah. Peace, man.
Peace.